prayer. Okay.
My Father in heaven, I come to you right now and I thank you for this day. Thank you for those who have gathered here to do the work of this county. We thank you for the mercy and grace you show us each and every day and the good gifts you give us. We lift to God this meeting in this moment. We pray, O God, that you would just give wisdom and understanding to those who are speaking. We pray, O God, for our community. We know that you wish, you desire health and wealth and prosperity for our community. So I pray right now that you would do that for our community. We pray right now a particular prayer for our hospital and those who are leading that organization in our community. We pray, God, that you would just work your way and your will in this situation. We pray again for those who are gathered here today. We ask that you would just give them courage, give them strength. May your blessings come upon them. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Call this meeting of Fayette County Commissioners to order. We'll begin, if you would please make sure your phones are silenced, and please rise for the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to take this opportunity to thank everyone for being here today. We'll begin with department heads and reports and whatnot. Dan Parker from EDG, do you have something for us today?
Can you do the minutes?
Dan, 1 minute.
Go ahead.
I'll move to approve the meeting from the special meeting and the regular meeting. I'll second.
Motion made and seconded to approve both the regular minutes and the special session minutes. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes. I apologize.
No problem. No problem.
I'm all the time getting things out of order.
That's kind of the way I operate. I don't have a lengthy report. What I do have, not for lack of material, we have plenty of material that we could go on for a long, long time, but to respect your time and what's going on in this meeting, I just want to make an introduction today of Russ Thomas, who is the new plant manager for Stant, and let him kind of give some history and tell the story about Stant's currently and what opportunities are there. Russ?
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Fayette County Commissioners, for allowing me the opportunity to come in and talk with you today. Just really wanted to come in and let you know that Stant has been a long-time company in Fayette County, and I think we're approaching our 121st year, I believe it is. So there's a long history. I think Stant has been good for the county, and I think the county's been good for Stant. We currently are doing very well at Stant. We are on the right product lines in the automotive industry, mostly the SUV market, so they're doing well, and so we're very healthy and we're doing well, winning new business. So just wanted to really come to you and let you know that we do seek people in this community and in the county for employment opportunities. A lot of people have been at Stant for a long time. I met with the city council not long ago, a couple weeks ago, and one of their board members had retired from Stant after 40 years. So there are still a lot of opportunity there to come in as a trainee or working on the floor to work themselves into whether it be a quality role or purchasing role or materials role. So just really wanted to remind everybody that we're here. We are seeking, talent from the community, and our doors are open.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate the update.
Thank you.
Do you have anything else, Dan?
That's it.
Okay. Thank you, Dan. Bill Mackey.
First off, I've got a 144 to replace the open position in my office, and I'd just like approval for that. From y'all.
You got a name?
Amy King. Amy King. She'll be primarily doing the GIS work that I used to do and stuff, and with her computer background and everything, she'll take it to the next level. So,
Is it under the dressman? Amy? You said Amy?
Amy.
Is there a motion for 144 approval?
I'll move to approve the 144 request for the county surveyor's office.
I'll second it.
There's a motion made and seconded to approve the 144 request. All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes.
Okay, also I've got the copies of matching grant agreements for community crossing that you guys will have to sign. Like I said, you've probably done those before. All 4 of them are in there with specific instructions how to take care of it, so. and I'm
I
sure
hadn't
you-
had time to read through it
Okay,
yet.
but
I've
there's
got it.
all of them there. and
Okay.
There's specific instructions to how they want them done, because otherwise they'll return them blue ink and all kinds of different little no staples, but they're all there.
I think Diana was gonna talk on it too.
Okay,
so,
good, good.
We'll address that when she comes in.
Okay. And then also on the 3 projects of the polymer seal for Bridge 24 out there on 300 West, or 300 North out there for the deck sealing. I've got a price for that. I've got for Bridge 68, which are the culverts down in front of Old Harley Weston's place. They can do that. But the dry ford down at on Ott Road, he didn't think he could do that. He thinks that needs to be capped with concrete again. But he has got a concrete guy that subcontracts for him, so that's very good. These are what the bids were for the other 2. That he could actually pen the part that's not penned, so it won't come off in the next floods. That's why, you know, that south end came off, it wasn't penned.
Oh, really?
Concrete wasn't penned to the
I
dry
just
ford.
thought maybe the rebar rusted off.
No, it wasn't. But if you want a quote on that, he could get him up here, and he just lives in Franklin County, the concrete guy does. So he's not very far away, and he uses him all the time, and he's very good. But in Bridge 24, he said this is about as maximum as he would go as far as need patching and stuff. You know, before he put the polymeric overlay on it. But as you can see, basically $27,000, which is probably a tenth of what a new deck would cost. You know, so as far as, and you know, you're talking 15, maybe 20 years of extra life to it. And then the other one, like I said,
How many years did you say it would add to?
pardon me,
How many years did you say it would add to that?
somewhere between 15 and 20.
15 to 20? On Bridge 24 or both of them? doing
Well,
this service?
basically both of them, because those box culverts are fairly new. They would probably last even longer than that if you wanted to. Because right now, you know, asphalt washed into the creek, which, you know, you don't want, you know, that happening really. But that's, you know, $13,000 to do those big box culverts. And that would stop any asphalt and all that washing. I mean, the stuff won't wash off. You'd have to sandblast it off.
I see.
You know, so if you would want to do that also. But these 2 prices are based on both of them. He said if you pick one, it might be a little more. I mean, because they got to bring their equipment, you know, all the way up and everything. But that's for those 2. But if you want me to check and see what he can do on a concrete cap on that, because it's a good 20 by 30 foot cap, and then he could pin the other side, drill, put rebar, and then seal it. So the other side that's there now would still last. So
Bill, don't you think we have some concrete people locally that
I don't know.
we could
I don't know.
utilize?
I was talking to Jerry. He said maybe one person that he would possibly.
Okay.
try. We could
Maybe
try it.
If we're gonna do a concrete.
You want to do
pad,
both of them, try to get both of them, give a bid?
Maybe, yeah.
Because I'm not sure, like I said, I didn't have him.
Is this company, is this unique to this company? I mean,
Yeah.
or is there other companies out there?
No, not
doing
around
this?
here. No, they're pretty much,
And have you went and looked at some of these
Mm-hmm.
products?
yeah, we went last summer and looked at one when they was doing an overlay down in, down by Osgood. They did a bridge. Yeah, they do the process in one day. I mean, the bridge, but I don't know how long the patching, at most, it'd probably close a week maybe versus, months for a new deck. But the overlay itself is one day. Well, you can read in there, they'd want the highway department to do the signage and stuff like that. I mean,
Right.
but,
But would you have any type of a cost estimate on what a new deck would be for Bridge 24?
It's probably similar to the one that was east of there down, on 300, east of 25, it's about the same size bridge probably, so you're probably talking
I
200.
mean, just a deck, I mean, because everything else is okay.
Yeah, just deck, the decking on that one was almost 300,000 east of there.
And we didn't replace the deck, did we? We ground it and
Yeah,
resurfaced it?
yeah, and it was like 300,000,
Okay.
I got a question.
both of them.
You come here a minute. And this down here, what is this, 10,000? This says a full dip patching, and it's only $60.
Because it's probably, most of it is probably just partial. There must be only, I didn't go out with him when he did
What?
it. It
The
probably
way it
just-
looks, he's gonna, 1 square foot needs to be full depth
Yeah,
patch.
that's what he found.
Oh, okay.
That's what he found. The rest of it's just,
And 360 square
That's
feet,
just for the 1 square foot.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
estimated
I
square
was
foot.
wondering why it's so cheap,
Yeah, but, yeah,
Okay.
that's why. And he said that's about his max of damage that he would really do, because they're not really a bridge company, they do that, but they don't want to do anything any worse than that. I don't know how many want to do any worse than that, this process.
Okay,
Will we,
thank you.
Bill, will we have to go through additional appropriations, or are you thinking about transferring some?
But you just do bridge fund?
I mean, out of the bridge fund, are you thinking, are you able to transfer some to do this project, or we need to go to the council for an additional appropriation?
I don't really think we need to put it in something different than just paying them right out of the,
Well, it has to be earmarked as a project.
okay.
I'm pretty sure State Board of Council requires to have,
Okay.
I mean, it'll be a Bridge 24 project, a
Mhm.
Bridge 30, or 68, but I know in the past, now this is, I'm speaking way back when Jerry and I was going about it, he usually had 4 or 5 different bridges that the budget, there were appropriations for, and
Mhm.
he'd move from one bridge to the other bridge, but I
Okay.
didn't know whether you had, I wasn't sure what the budget looked like.
No, we don't have any appropriations for none of those. No, because we didn't know, didn't expect it to wash off and,
Yeah.
and, both of them plus, Bridge 24. I don't think he had anything, and I can look and see if he had anything in there for 24, but
Jay, do we, on flooding issues and whatnot, does our insurance cover any repairs like that if there's a bridge damage? Do we have bridges insured for,
I don't know if we have insurance on that or not, truthfully. Because I don't know if they cover, because your box culverts are like a dry port more or
Yeah.
less. It's supposed to be designed for the water to go over if they have to. All they did down there was just take the cap off it.
Right.
They put all the chip seal. Which chip seal never holds up when the water gets to it anyway.
right?
But down there at the one on Ott, I've never seen one do like that one did. So I don't know. That was kind of strange.
Do you think it'd be worth a phone call to Brad and see if we are with
Wouldn't hurt to ask.
some kind of coverage, do you think you?
Tell you what, we can pick this up in a couple of weeks. If you think we've got, we don't have every question answered we need to. And it's not, we're not in the work season for this kind of work yet, are we, Bill?
Okay,
We got plenty of time.
well, that's a figure of speech, but.
Well, yes, but it's not 2 weeks is not gonna make a difference. I'd be interested to know too if we have any insurance policies that cover that sort of damage. And
I mean, Bridge 24, that's just what it is. It's aged.
Yeah.
yeah, well, compared to replacing a deck, this is certainly
Yeah.
a lot
To
cheaper.
extend the life.
And I think if you get 20 years out of it, 20 more years, then that's a good
Yeah,
investment.
yeah, Michigan State Highways been getting it, and they said they've been getting 50 or 20 years out of theirs, and those are state highways. And they've been using it that long. And they've been getting 20 years in state highways out of it, so hopefully we can get at least that or
Okay.
on the county road.
Is there a motion to table this right now then?
I'll move to
Get some more
table-
answers?
I'll move to table this until our next meeting so that we can get all the answers and set things up with council for funding if need be.
That'll do us. There's been a motion made and seconded to table it. Jay, now, if we make some decisions by our next meeting, that'll give us sample time to advertise for additional in the bridge fund if we need to for the May meeting.
Yes.
Okay. So,
We'll probably have to ask for an additional.
is there any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes then, on the table, motion to table. Thanks, Bill, for this, I appreciate that. And then do you have the Duke, information on the Duke?
Oh, I don't know, somebody, is Josh here? Yeah.
Well, by all means, go ahead, then we'll get that out of the way. Duke fiber optic? is
Yes,
that right?
yeah, my name is Chris G. I'm with Duke Energy. I'm trying to play catch up here. So the intention is Duke's going to place a 144 count fiber optic. We're trying to connect all our offices, substations, generators, and all that with our own private network. And that's what this is part of this. We'll be making a stop at the Connersville Ops Center on Veterans Memorial Parkway, I believe, and also a tower site we own north of town. And then it'll continue on to Newcastle. And from Newcastle, we're moving on to Westfield and then eventually to Plainfield.
Okay. And you've presented a bond?
Yes, I believe a bond was delivered last week.
As asked, yeah.
As requested.
There. The two of you want to look at that? Jane received that last week, I believe, didn't you? And this is buried or above?
It is buried. They were doing that for reliability purposes. Should be an event of, some kind of natural disaster.
Will there be road cuts or will you be boring?
For the most part, we'll be boring. I look to Josh because he's representing GSP, who's our contractor, so I don't believe we have any plan.
All road crossings in our
Where
service.
you
Okay, okay.
I don't know if it is or not.
You know where it's over?
That's $1 million bond. Ought to be
Loosen that tie a little bit, that way you can check it out better.
Mark?
They try to get you not worried about us?
They have me do what I want. You guys need me to review that too?
What's the timetable for this, do you know, or
Duke's overall goal is to have it completed by the end of the year.
by the end of the year?
So it's a very aggressive schedule, and we'll see how that goes.
Through Fayette County by the end of the year?
Oh,
or
yeah, through
The
Fayette
whole
County,
thing?
Yes, they want the whole thing by
Okay.
the end of the year now. We talked about it in September, and we're getting to it now in March, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
I've got a question, just out of curiosity, I don't know if you can answer or not. We got the, what do you call this, getting computer stuff?
The Intelligent Community Task Force.
Yeah, can we get one of them fibers to use for the county?
So
Is there extra ones in there?
we are wanting this to be completely for the sole use of Duke because we have, as you know, I think in Connersville there's Metronet, which used to be tied in with Synergy at the time. And what happened was that caused a lot of problems because our priorities don't line up with the priorities of a provider for certain reasons. So at this point, I would say it's for our sole use only. That's how we're
Private cable.
we're 100% want to keep this on our own. There are discussions in the future of having additional branches and whatnot for those reasons. I know we're having some discussions about that, but as of right now, I can just say it's for our sole
Might
use.
want to keep in touch with our,
No, I don't mind. I mean, I appreciate helping anybody from a local standpoint as much as I can.
okay.
It's good to be.
Standard bond.
Yep.
Is there a motion to allow?
This has been discussed for quite some time, I think, before the first of the year.
Mhm.
Didn't Warren have a,
I think he had the layout.
he had
but-
an agreement? Just-
The big holdup was the bond. Our internal people kept saying, oh, they have one, and back and forth and back and forth, and finally we were able to get one issued.
Okay.
So,
Do we have an agreement we need to sign or not?
Did you bring an agreement?
no, I
with
did
you, or
not. I'm
there's
not
no
aware of any agreement. I mean, we're doing this under the guise of being a utility. So this isn't a non-reg venture.
Bill, did Warren leave anything behind on this when he left?
No, nothing, I know,
I know he worked on it before he left.
I knew he did, but I haven't seen anything in the office.
Okay.
I imagine there'll be a need for us to approve them using our right of way.
Public utility, right?
Yes.
And then,
Yeah, so this is,
we have approved this pending.
I report an IT structure.
We have
And the
approved.
approval of this.
This is
Yeah.
just covering
We have
damages.
ordered to protect the county in case of any damage to the lines. I've shared with numerous people.
Say that
numerous
again?
times. The wording to protect the county was one of the things, and we previously approved it.
Yeah, Mark, you were talking about in the agreement that the county was protected
Yeah,
if for some reason we got into the line
yeah.
using the county
I don't know
highway.
what happened.
Yeah, I don't, there was questions that were taken back from the commissioners. We wanted a surety that the county would not be held liable if the county highway was doing
Should
road
be.
work and got into that fiber optic cable. I don't think we've received that surety that we wouldn't be held liable.
Okay.
We asked for the bond, and you presented that. But I do remember that conversation now, back before the first of the year.
It's been a good while.
Back in September, probably.
Chances are. Yeah, the only thing I know of that is so this will be registered with the Indiana Utility Protection Service. It'll be located at any time. We're requiring a minimum 48-inch depth. So I don't know.
I think we should table it until we can make sure they got the other information on the, where they're signing
Can you
up.
help with that, Jeff, as far as the legalities of?
To
I
protect
can.
the
So
county?
this is the first time I'm hearing this.
Yeah,
So
because it-
essentially, your concern at this point in time is to make sure that we don't have any liability if we were to damage this at
Yep.
any point in
Right.
time. Is that something your company is going to agree to?
I was gonna say, I mean, the way it's looked at is it would be no different than electric line, buried electric line in the ground. So I mean, as long as the diligence is done as far as locates are called in and you know, it's not located or it's not at the depth it says it is, then, you know, anybody can go out and put an axe through it and it's our.
Well, that's what I'm thinking, as long as,
Well, because I'm assuming when we do any work on the highways, we're calling in utility locate anyway, right? They're flagging it. This would be flagged just like anything
Yeah, we
else, like a
always call
gas
it
line.
out.
Yeah, we will make sure we're protected.
well, I
It's-
think,
My understanding, this gets labeled just like a gas line
Correct.
would or something.
Correct.
It's in my office right
There's
now.
markers, tracer wire.
Suing the county because we've hit their lines, even though they would have those same utility protections.
pass that on to Jeff.
What's that?
We've got 2 cases in my office right now from Frontier where we've hit utility lines, even though they would be covered under the same thing I was talking about. The first thing they do if we accidentally hit one is send us a letter that we owe $1,000.
Sure. Sure. if that's something you want me to pursue, I certainly can do that. If we tabled this for a couple weeks, and I try to get with somebody with Duke, some kind of communication, does that cause a lot of havoc?
Oh, you know, like I said, we're already behind, so it's one of those I can't say no, but at the same time, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know whether they're going to agree to that anyway. I mean, it's kind of hard to agree to.
We have to, we won't let them put the cable in.
Well, okay. Yeah, I mean, if that's what you want me to do, I'll be happy to look into that. So you want an agreement essentially saying that any liability we would have if we damaged any of this,
We're not responsible.
we're not responsible for?
Yep.
Okay. We can try.
I think what we're after, or what's concerning us, we have some other issues with some utilities that they were marked and we hit them, and now they're wanting us to pay for them, and we hit them because they wasn't where they were supposed to be.
yeah,
And now that we're being sued for the repairs.
yeah, and I completely understand being apprehensive about that, but at the same time, I don't know who the other offenders are, but
So-
it's one of those that I would hope Duke would be a good steward, and if something's not marked where it's supposed
So
to
we
be.
want to try to cover our bases
Understood.
if we can. I mean, it's a lot easier for us to miss above ground lines.
I know. They don't have that backhoe fade.
Yeah.
Water lines do.
So, I mean, I hope you understand where we're coming from.
Oh, no, I mean, that's, you're here to protect the county, and I completely understand. I'm afraid, I'm not a lawyer, but it would seem that that would open the door then for electric. That's the first thing our lawyers say is, well, we don't do this for electric, and the medium is no different, whether it's conducting light, electricity, but
I don't know.
I don't know either. I'll have to get, I mean, I'll have to
If
look
you'll
into
give
it
us
a
2
little bit.
weeks till our next meeting, and
You
then
shoot me an email.
I certainly will.
and if we don't get any other answers, then we'll move a different direction. But
Okay. All right, thank you for your
Is that-
time.
Yeah, thank you.
Do we need to table it?
you can just enter it that we're going to readdress in 2 weeks, can't you, James? Without a table. Without a table, or a motion to table. We'll just enter it in minutes, and she'll bring it back up on the agenda. If you can research that, Jeff, and see what you can come up with, see if we can find a happy medium someplace. Highway Department, Jay?
Good afternoon.
How are you, sir?
I've had better days, believe me.
I've had better months.
I've got a problem out on 200 that we need to address. They've dug a ditch across the road, put the water from one side to the other. It's a gravel road.
Is
And
it
it's-
200 south?
Yeah.
Down
Right
by
off of,
Merrick.
right east of 550 west. They've evidently had this problem before, because what I've heard, they've had the sheriff out there before and they told them not to do it, and they do it anyway. So I don't know what the next step is on that. I can go ahead and ditch down where I've got to need to ditch and see what happens, but
They're physically cutting the road themselves?
Yeah.
Cutting an open ditch across the road?
yeah. They're blocking the ditch where the water went into the can on the north side of the road to put it back to the south side of the road and putting the water across the road. They don't want the water coming down where it's going down through.
Would you? Sounds like you're gonna be busy this week.
Does that sound like it? A lot of fun.
But we for some reason, many years ago, they took the water out of a waterway on the south side and moved it across the north side of the road. Put a can across the road.
The county did that, or
Yeah.
the property owners jointly did that, or?
I don't know. That was right before I took over.
Okay.
But I know when it was done, but it's probably been back in 2008, somewhere around there. But it throws all the water on the other side, now it overpowers the cans over there. And they're retaliating by trying to push it back to the other side. The only solution I see is open the waterway back up on the south side of the road and put the water where it's supposed to be. But to do it, we're gonna have to go in there, we're gonna have to ditch it and clean the waterway out to where the water, because they've let it fill in.
And that's our county right-of-way ditch? you're
Well, our
talking
ditch
about?
runs in through with the waterway is what it does. It runs from the west to the east.
But you're saying that the county road ditch needs to be re-ditched?
It needs to be, there needs to be.
We won't be
put
going
back the way
outside our
it was,
right-of-way?
yeah. Yeah, we'll stay in our right of way and do it, that's all we can do. And then take the can out of the road that they put across the road the first time and put all the water back where it's supposed to be. That's the only way I know to fix it. Because when it rains hard, it takes the road out.
So, do we have any idea why it was done back then, when it was done? I mean,
I was in the garage when that was done. I don't remember why they did it or something, and I don't know if they had permission to move it from one person to the other person, because you legally you're supposed to have permission to put the water on somebody else.
yeah.
But I don't know. And there's nobody else. I'm the oldest guy down there right now, and Chuck didn't remember when they did it. So. I can go in there and correct it, but it won't be fun.
Can you correct it without a big dispute with the property owner?
Probably not.
Is the grade all big enough to handle it?
Yeah.
It's all we need is another neighborhood fight.
It's not nice to be in the middle of them either, believe me.
I know. Well, I don't know any of the principals involved in this.
If one of you would like to come down tomorrow, I can take you out and show you the spot. I got pictures of it, but they're not real good pictures. Hard to get the right angle to show you exactly what it's doing.
I'd like to see it. We got an executive meeting here at 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. I might be able to get down before that.
That'll work.
I can with you.
I can take you out and show you where it is.
I don't know what to tell him right now.
Sounds like it's gonna be, like I said, an issue for Jeff.
Yeah.
Or the prosecutor's office.
Or the prosecutor's office, one of the two.
How
Because they
long
can't
has
be
this
cutting
been
ditches
going on?
across the road.
Well, that's what this is the second. They said this is the second time he's done it. Because we just did straighten the road back up. Because we've been talking about trying to open the waterway back up to quit it from washing the can out. Because it will wash the can out when it rains hard.
Was that where they ran it and then ran back on the guy's property to hit a ditch?
Yep. They got, from what I was told, they got permission from the guy that lived right there to take the water around to his can in his driveway, to run it down the ditch line. But his boy don't like it. And he's the one that's doing the digging.
Who's
blocking
the
can.
property owner? The boy or him?
I haven't talked to him. I didn't want to go back there and start anything.
You just didn't want a shot.
Yeah. I don't run as fast as I used to. And I'm too big to try to duck under something. believe me.
Dodge it.
I'll come down there tomorrow and take a look.
Okay.
Gonna do that. We'll take a look at it first and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, I'd like to see.
But
what-
somehow, I mean, we've gotta.
Richard had trouble with this guy.
Yeah.
Pretty sure he did.
Yeah, he's the one that called the sheriff the last time, I believe.
Yeah.
Well, I think you, probably before you go, you need to maybe take Joey with you. And, because he can't be cutting the ditch across the road with him. It's gonna leave a liability for the county if somebody hits that.
Yeah, we really can't have people just digging ditches across the roads.
If you're worried about safety, just take a sheriff's deputy with you.
We can do that.
I'm sure the prosecutor's office could potentially find a potential crime there. I mean, that.
Oh, I forgot we had the prosecutor's office here. And the judge, so.
We have a tank car down there to replace them cans down there on 150.
Okay.
We're just trying, I think Bill's trying to locate somebody to put them in.
Yeah, I gotta call in and see if he has equipment big enough to move them, because it's pretty massive.
Yeah.
A lot of guys don't have equipment
Take
big
a-
enough to handle it.
A 46-foot tank car.
Just gonna have him go look at it and see what he thought.
Mike?
Yeah.
Okay. I think he's done it before, right?
Yeah, he has done before, but this is a massive can.
Okay,
And I don't think he has the equipment like he used to, as big as he used.
okay.
But it's up to him, I think, if he can, otherwise we have to get a crane.
I mean, basically, after Bill roll it up on the low point and roll it off.
Yeah, we may have to get rid of a crane to do it.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
don't know which I think weighs, it was 46 feet long, at least 6 feet diameter.
I can walk through it, so it's at least 6 feet.
And so it's.
Is it the only choice? I mean,
That's the only
It's gotta
choice I
be
can
a-
see.
It's gotta be a 6-foot diameter, I figured watershed.
Okay.
It needs to be 6-foot minimum
all right.
to handle all that water.
Do you agree or disagree, Bill, that that's still the cheapest
Oh,
route?
absolutely.
Cheapest fix?
Oh, absolutely. And then we can salvage the other cans, I've got a couple other spots for those.
Okay. All right.
And I got the cans ordered for up on 650, up north.
Okay.
And I figured it's gonna take probably about 21 loads of gravel to bring that thing up where it needs to be.
Tandem.
Yeah, tandem loads. And they've got a mix down in Derbyshire down there that will do it. That'll pack in and pack hard. I'll have to get a cheap foot roller to do it, but we can get that done once we get the cans in. We're just waiting on them to come in.
Where'd you say from?
The cans are coming from St. Regis.
No, the gravel.
Derbyshire,
Down south.
Newport, yeah, Newport Stone. Well, they're not bad. Their price is cheap enough, and they got it. What they got will really pack in. That's what we're wanting. Something that'll stay.
Will we have to rent a sheep's foot?
Yeah.
Okay. To do that properly.
Did we get our stop sign for on Zimmerman Road?
It's on order. It hasn't come in yet, and he hadn't located any of them yet because we haven't located the front of the house or where the sign goes until it gets here. Because you don't want to locate it ahead of time, then take 2 months to get it, and then you just have to locate it again.
Okay.
But I went over there and looked on the front of their house, and there's some water lines coming through there, and they need to be located before we can decide whether there's going to be a guardrail put up there or not.
Okay.
Because if they're too close to that road, you can't. There's no place to put it but right there next to the road,
Yeah.
and you won't be able to do it.
Yeah.
All right. And
But
then-
I've got some. I checked on somebody grinding it, and then I checked with the sign department guy that Danny gets his stuff off of, and they've got some rumble strips that'll glue down and the plows won't take them off. It'll be cheaper than grinding.
Okay.
So we got them ordered for that too.
All right.
So
Okay.
we're set to go on that.
Okay.
Thank you very much for getting on that.
Anything else?
I'll be down to see you tomorrow morning.
Okay.
All right. Anything else for Jay? All right. Well, they gonna plant in 18 days. Bill, Mr. Towers up north on that 600 project.
Yeah.
He's needing some right of way.
We've been searching, trying to figure out what the old agreements were back when the county actually took them over and haven't been able to locate anything yet.
Okay, all right.
So, yeah. But he don't accept the 34 feet that the highway department says it is. So they got the cards that down there, and I guess originally, sometime in the 50s, they went out and probably measured between the fences when fences were still there, and that's probably what was between the fences and considered the right of way. I think that's where a lot of that came from. They didn't have any definitive proof, and he won't accept that. He wants to know what it was. And I was talking to Jerry the other day, and 30 years ago, him and our former secretary, Pat McCart, I remember Pat from years ago,
Yeah.
spent days up there going through those books and found everything they could. He didn't know if that was specifically in there, but made copies of everything the county had right away on back, those days. And he said it used to be in the office, but I can't find it anywhere. He said he had a stack of them that big. He'd make actual copies out of commissioner's records. And all the roads he could find up there. So So I don't know, I'll have to spend a lot more time in order to figure if I can't find him. We've been looking for
Well,
his
and-
information. I'll have to maybe give Warren a call and see if he remembers doing something with it.
I guess I mean, I shared with Mr. Towers as well. If that's all the information we've got, then I can't make information
No.
up.
And
Right.
it may not even be in those books, you know.
Yeah.
Not every road is probably there, you know, because when the county took them over, they always wanted an agreement, you know, how much right of way they was getting, but, you know, every road is probably not even in there. It may or may not be, once you spend hours and hours looking. But if I could find what Jerry done years ago, you know, it'd be a lot easier just to read through that than looking through
Yeah,
all those books. So,
Well,
we'll keep looking for him, and I may give Warren a call, because he did a lot of reorganization when he came in, and see if he remembered him. I knew, they used to sell black file, or file cabinet, for years.
Mhm. Well, you've moved
around,
too. You moved
and we don't have him.
from one building to another. They could be still over in the basement at the annex someplace.
I don't know. But yeah, he's been emailing me, I've been,
All right, I don't know what to tell him, because we can't, if the information's not there, we can't make it up.
yeah, it's gonna take time to look, and once we exhaust it, it's not there, I mean, what else you can do other than the 30?
Because it's my understanding, just like you, most of those cards were made on basically gentlemen's agreements. They went out and measured,
Between fences and stuff, and
Yeah.
the county was maintaining it at the time,
and,
and, you know.
and that was what was recorded over the time, and
Jerry
whether,
can think of somewhere in the 50s, possibly when those were done.
yeah, right or wrong, I mean, who knows whether it was right or wrong at the time, but that's all we had to go by today for the most part.
Yeah.
I mean, all the new roads,
Oh, yeah.
they're recorded as far as
Oh, yeah.
legally
Yeah.
and whatnot, but these old ones,
Yeah, you just don't know.
okay. Brandon Burgess from Drug Court and Judge.
Less controversial. I don't think it'll take any work by Mr. Wessling whatsoever. Just as something different for today. Here just ask permission for another little grant application we would like to make. Indiana Office of Court Services has a nice little grant that's available for educational purposes that we could use to help subsidize educational experiences for drug court participants and a lot of other categories of things that you could use the money for. There's no matching funds. There's no commitment of our resources. It's purely gratis, but just as a standard procedure, I would ask permission to make the application and try to get the money.
Is it once a year grant type
Yeah.
thing? It's not.
But before we call for a vote, just to save you all the trouble of having to see me all the time, these things come up all the time, and I was just wondering if I could have a blanket permission, not that I would every grant like this that would come up, but just permission to, if we decided that it was good, of course in consultation with Ms. Wright. If a grant opportunity came up that required no commitment of resources, funds, property, or manpower from our internal resources, but it was just strictly them giving us money and no commitment on our side, could I just make those type of applications without having to come see you every time? Now, of course, if it required
I would agree to it.
even the smallest amount of commitment from
You
county
can get
resources.
free money, go for it.
Yeah, right. If it's totally free money and we don't have to commit anything, I would like a vote, just a blanket permission to do that going forward. Now, of course, even the smallest amount of commitment required of county resources, manpower, equipment, funds, matching, or anything like that, then I would come down on an individual basis on that.
I would think as long as it works with Diana's office.
I would run everything. I would never go around Diana at all.
I
She's
don't
Jim
have a
for us.
problem.
How do you need to word the motion? Just give them a blanket.
We're not giving him a blank check.
No, blanket check.
You can't
We'll give permission to gather money.
I've already
For
dealt dealt with him before.
And you said it wasn't gonna be controversy.
Well, certainly, if there's anything that we can do to just stay out of your way,
Well, we just
to make
speed
things
up.
easier for you in cases like this, I would certainly want to do that. But as long as, you know, what you're seeking requires no matching funds or no obligation on the county's part, sure, I'm fine with it.
Well, I think it'd be committing a crime if I tried to sign the county up, committing county funds without the authority of the commission. So I certainly would not be doing that, yeah.
Even though you could.
I have to be charged like anybody else. The law applies to everyone, including the judges. So I don't make a habit of trying to break the law.
I'll make a motion to give the Superior Court permission to pursue any and all grants that do not require matching funds or other obligations from the county, financially or otherwise, without permission from the commissioners on an individual case-by-case basis. Does that make any sense?
I think so.
I'll second it.
We're getting a note here. We'll see what that means. Oh, yeah. And through the grant administrator's office.
Make no such applications without going through Diana, which I would do anyway. So it's nothing for me to commit to that because I would do that anyway.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to take that chance either. That's my motion.
Okay, I'll second it.
Did you get all that?
I did, we're forward.
Okay.
Now, this is why I love Justin back here, because I will watch this later and catch up.
That was a good thing there was no way on that paper.
Is there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes.
Very well. Thank you a lot.
Thank you. Good luck. You're about to run out.
I know, I might need another pencil.
All right, IT, Michael.
Sorry, Jeff, I keep going. We can do it. Just have my monthly report there. Pretty much the number of spam emails we're getting is just continuing to increase. We had 714,000 emails, almost 715,000 last month, and almost 234,000 were spam. So it seems like it's gone up a quarter just in the last month or 2 months. So I'm not sure what the big deal is out on the internet right now with the spam, but you know, we're definitely getting our money's worth from the spam filter. Because last time I saw a study, it said that on average for every spam email a person gets, it takes anywhere from 8 to 15 seconds for your brain to read enough up to go, hey, this isn't something I want, and to move on. So that's 235,000 15 seconds that our employees aren't having to mess with. Like I said, the amount of email traffic that we're getting is just increasing. I think a year ago we had 400,000 emails a month, and now we're at 715, and that's only going to increase. So the number of phone calls is pretty much staying steady on how many are coming in and how many are answered. That didn't really change. Overall, I had 249 tickets. I've got all of the computers almost done from the batch that we bought from my end of year money. The 17 that I'd gotten, I've got 3 left to put out. I've kind of been trying to not do it too quickly because it's going from Windows 7 to Windows 10, so it's a big change for a lot of the users. I mean, they're not huge changes, but there's enough little differences that we're doing a lot of after we install it. Okay, we need to tweak this, we need to change that, this isn't quite working right. And so we didn't want to do them all at once and then everybody come in on a Monday screaming at us because they can't do their work because something's not working the way they expect it to. I am getting quotes on some computers for the first floor, probably the same type that I got for upstairs. Because basically I look at the computers that I got for upstairs as 2018 for that 5-year cycle. These ones will be into the 2019 stuff to try to get some of the first floor computers replaced. Maybe a couple over in probation. And then I'm probably gonna get quotes for corrections, but they have their own money, so it would come out of their budget, so. I'm already working on the new firewall to get that put in sometime in the next couple of weeks. And that's pretty much it. I'm also doing some stuff for the recorder for their new, getting quotes for their new system. As they quote of going with Conduit again or going with the CSI system from here in Indiana. I'm not sure what the actual name of it is. Title I or something, I think, for their document database system. So, and the Bookeye, so far they've got about 5 gigs worth of images scanned already. So, I know one of the books they scanned was like, or one of the folders they've got something like 425 pages. So they're already scanning away and working pretty hard at it. So, and then as we move forward with that project and they get their books caught up, like Bill was booking those books, and obviously they have to be upstairs to do that, or come up here, grab one, and take it back down. As we get further in with that Bookeye for the recorder stuff, we can get those scanned, and he'd be able to look at them from his office, since those scans will be on the network. So over time, ideally, we'll have all those books scanned somewhere and stored so that whoever needs to access them can access them without having to go track them down somewhere in the building. So, any questions or anything for me?
You're doing a good job, Michael. I'm glad we've got you.
I try. That's all we can do, right?
I don't know how you keep up.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, give me a holler if you need anything.
Thanks a lot.
There's Bill.
Hey. My neck?
Yep, you're up. Bill Gray.
How you doing?
Great. Yourself?
Okay, great. All I got is the bid I got for the gate at the jail. The last bid from Light was $3,671. I got a bid from CEI, Ron Best. He's about $90-some cheaper, $3,574.80.
How's that gate ran?
From the key operator.
Key? So,
everybody's got the key. It'll stay the same.
So, how do out-of-county transports get in?
They come in the other way, come into the Sally Port. They don't
The
come-
wrong way.
They don't come through the gate. They probably couldn't make a turn, especially with the prison bus, they couldn't make that turn.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
like
But all
county
city
vans
comes
are-
in this way, because it's close to the Sally Port. They just come in this way and right into the Sally Port.
Okay. The 357480 was the Ron Best
Yes.
ad? Or
Yes, 30,
bid?
3574.80. And Light was 3671.
And it's basically the same.
Yeah, same thing. I
Same
read
piece of
through it,
equipment.
the same. They're doing the same thing. So,
You
I
feel
suggest-
comfortable with Ron?
No, I have no problem at all. Keep it local. I have no problem with all Ron doing it.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
You were all right.
Yeah.
I'll move to approve the purchase of the new gate from CEI.
That comes from Kim Cap.
I hadn't even thought about that.
I'm finding out that we need to think about this ahead of time.
That way
Yeah.
I've got someplace to go with it. So.
Under that repairs,
Either that or
maintenance.
courthouse operating or jail maintenance. I would have to defer to the chief financial officer in the building before I commit myself on that.
I would say Kim Court or Kim Cap, one of the two.
Well, we know it has to be replaced, and we will find the right place to pay for it from.
There's a motion made to take the 357480 bid. Is there a second? Was there a second? No? I'll second it. It's a motion made and seconded. Is there any other discussion or questions? Reed, you have another idea or? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
2 ayes, 1 opposed. Water fountain,
Waiting on bid.
the annex,
I got the bid from Palace, yeah.
you're trying something, you're looking
I'm
at.
just waiting. I don't have any more of the bids.
Okay.
Yeah. And I don't think we're gonna get anything that's gonna,
I kind of looked online, and
Yeah, so did
if this
I.
is installed,
so did I, yeah.
this is probably a good
Yeah,
price.
so did I. Look, that's the first thing I do when I get a bid. I go online and see
Yeah.
what, see what the product costs.
The situation we've got over at the annex, we don't have a water fountain.
We've got one, but it doesn't work.
It's
They
been
got
over-
water.
We do not have a working water
Right.
fountain. And I've been led to believe that it's not worked for several years, and so I question why we haven't replaced it, but we either continue buying water, bottled water for over there, or we replace the water fountain for $1,100.
I told them to buy the water for one more time until we can get our fountain.
Okay. Do we want to go ahead with PALS, or do you want Bill
I
to
just said
get,
go ahead with their local.
get some more quotes on it? But
Like I said, I don't think you're gonna get anything better because I've looked
I
at
found
it.
the same water fountain online for
So did
about
I.
$850 or $900, and then you pay installation, you're talking $1,000 to $1,100.
Yeah, it's close.
Yeah.
So I'm,
I think we ought to go ahead and get Powell's.
is there a
I'll
motion?
make a motion to that effect.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded that we go ahead and have PALS replace the water fountain over in the annex building for $1,137.45 install. Is there any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes.
Okay, I'll take care of both of these. Anything else?
Yeah, when you get that done, test the water.
I'm sorry?
Test the water.
In the fountain?
Yeah, make sure it's okay.
Yeah,
God,
it'll
they'll
be
bring it
filtered.
up.
It'll be filtered anyway. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Bill. All right, I guess we're down to Colin. Sir?
Yes. So I have another grant proposal. It's one that we've had a long time now. It's the STOP grant, which is domestic violence. It provides me to be the domestic violence dedicated prosecutor. There's only a handful of cases every year that are domestic violence that I wouldn't handle, and it's probably because they're in circuit court and I have a conflict or whatever reason. But most domestic cases I handle, and this allows for that. I will be submitting the grant this month. It is for $22,676.55. There is a match of $5,674.15.
How have we been doing the match in the past?
That's a thing.
The match is coming from his other salaries.
Okay. I thought it
Oh, is
was,
that to pay him?
We do have to pay him.
We do?
You do.
Okay.
You specifically. So I would just ask for permission to go ahead and submit that when I have the grant completed.
and
I'll move to approve the STOP grant.
I'll second.
motion made and properly seconded that we continue to apply for a continued STOP grant. This would be for the 2019-2020 year? Is it July to July?
2019.
It-
And
it-
20 and 2020. It starts in July and goes to.
To June
the end of
30th?
June,
Yeah, that's what I thought. Is there any other questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes.
We also got, I don't know if you were going to mention this, but we got a 6-month extension on the DOC grant. Is that all correct?
That is correct. And we're gonna have to do a whole new application for, you just approved an entire year, and they told us at the very end of our application that that's gonna be for the year 2020. So, community corrections, drug court, jail treatment, probation in the prosecutor's office will all have to do another application for 6 months to be granted an extension. They want to go from a fiscal year to a calendar year.
I see.
So we'll be back, but I just wanted you guys to know that.
How's that gonna work with the state budget being the way it is? I mean,
That's what
it sounds to me like we're gonna
Department of
be,
Corrections has decided is best, so that's what we have to do.
we're gonna be stuck holding the bag till all their paperwork goes through for state money.
You never know. Hopefully not. But that's all for me. Thank you.
Don't spend all that money in one place.
You just let me know where to spend it. That's where I'm at.
All right. Any other department head today? Mail. Diane and I received email today. I think it came today, didn't it? Our 911 grant application for our console equipment, radio equipment upgrade. It has made it through the first phase, and the state has what do I want to say, passed it on to the federal for the grant application process there. So we've made it through the first step, and I would say it looks fairly favorable if it made it that.
If the state gets funded, we will get funded.
Yeah. Did you catch the second email? This is a reimbursed grant, so we will be required to pay up front the total cost, and then we'll be reimbursed the 60% if we do get the grant. So I thought that was good news for today. Is there any other mail that needs to come? Okay. Old business, we have cemetery mowing bids. I don't know if there's, yeah, there's Amy. We had 2 bids. Refresh my memory, Jane, on
Corey's lawn service, lawn and order.
yeah, there was lawn and order, a bid of
23,530.
23,530. Is that right? Yeah, 23,530.
And Corey's was 23,500.
And Corey's was for 23,500. We tabled this and asked for the Cemeteries Commission to review these and to give us a recommendation. Amy, I assume you have that ready for us today.
Yes. We looked it over, spoke to each one, and we would recommend that Corey retain the contract for 2019.
Okay. Any questions for Amy pertaining to this, or I'll entertain a motion?
I'll move to accept the bid from Corey for the lawn mowing service. Second.
There's a motion made and seconded that we retain Corey's Lawn Care LLC to do the contract mowing for the Cemetery Commission for the year of 2019. Is there any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes. Thank you, Amy, for that recommendation.
I do have a couple other things,
Okay.
if I mind. The first thing is we need to update our rules and regulations. They haven't been updated since August of 2010. So
It's
on,
rules and regulations as a board?
yes.
For the board itself?
The Cemetery Commission. The dates just need changed, and some of the, well, I don't think it lists one specifically, so I think the other laws are fine. It just needs to update on the date, if I might.
So you don't have, the board doesn't have any recommendations for the commissioners to actually change any wording or anything right now, at this time?
Not on that.
All right.
And then on our,
Jeff, if you could kind of look over that and make sure everything follows current statutes.
our letter from Ann for the cemeteries. I think, yesterday, Commissioner Nobby had said that, you know, you guys thought I should send it, but, I mean, after printing it out and stuff, it hasn't been signed, and so, I think that's probably something that.
We need to sign it.
That's the letter that we authorized and it's never been sent, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
I guess I'd like to refer this to Jeff and make sure that that code meets that letter.
Does he need to send it out?
Well, I know this began while we had a different county attorney, and now Jeff's our attorney. We want to have him review it and put his name on it.
Jeff, I really think you need to look at that code and review it.
Right.
And give us a legal opinion.
I will.
Currently to this day on that. Because I think there's some discrepancy, there's some questions of whether the interpretation of the code is like Ann and some others have interpreted it, so
Sure.
Well, are you saying that you don't think that those are right, that those laws are correct?
He's just going to double check.
I just want to double check and make sure that the code is being interpreted the correct way.
Okay.
What's your concerns?
She just wants them to quit burying in the plot.
Right, I just want them to stop burying out there in the cemetery.
But and on this issue, and I guess I got a little more, I did a little more research on my own. I was informed that there has never been a burial out there without the permission of a commissioner. The last burial that was done was approved by the president of the commissioners. Amy, it's my understanding you were out there.
I was there when one of the graves was opened, and that was after the permission had been given.
Because you were at, Leota invited you to be out there, correct?
Yes.
If I understood it right.
Yes.
So
and that was to make sure.
But I'm concerned that if we've got burial plots, then maybe we should be using them.
Okay. All right. So with that, then he would need to look into that's what I was going to ask you about, because with that being open, you have to have a perpetual care fund. So, and everything has to be the ground penetrating radar, it has to be mapped, it has to be.
And I want that, I mean, that's my point. I want to make sure
it's done right.
If we're going to do it, it's done right.
Okay.
And that's what I want him to look at, that code for.
And I think it's my understanding that we have to start with a $25,000 fund. That, I'm not 100%, but the startup fund, I believe is $25,000. And then for 15% of every plot sold,
Reverts back to the fund.
goes back to the fund. So once the $25,000 is matched, then the county could have their money back. But I don't think you have that much room out there to do that. And you would have to plot, the whole thing has to be plotted and redone. And that's what I wanted to ask you. I mean, if it takes that much hoops, is it worth it to do?
And we have to answer that question. when we get there. I mean, when we find out for sure if that's what's all's necessary.
Well, so the guy that's doing our ground penetrating radar, I'm gonna put him off again because, I mean, it's not, I don't wanna waste his time and have him come down and give us an estimate and stuff if, you know, if we're not, you know, if you decide that you don't wanna spend the money to do that.
Mm-hmm. Well, if he's not looking for business, then he probably won't come down. But if he's looking for business, I think he'll come down and give you an estimate so that we can use those numbers to analyze whether it's worth the cost to proceed on. I think. I mean,
Well, you kind of have to have it done because there might be plot that's already sold out there that something's going to be done.
And that was part of it as well. I know you're new, so a side note is without the records and stuff for the cemetery, we don't know what or where any plots have been sold. And once a plot has been sold, it can't be resold. So it's, I mean,
So how do we not have those records?
they've just been lost to time.
Okay, so we think that there may or may not be people out there with plots that they paid for.
There could have been from, you know, from grandma that bought a plot out there.
Passed on down to the family.
And bought 5 plots and they only used 4. Well, you know, there's an open spot, but, you know, it's already been bought and paid for and everybody's forgotten about it until grandma passes away.
What happens when that comes, when someone says, hey, I bought this plat, what do they bring a document?
They got a receipt for it, for one thing, I know.
Okay, a receipt, how? Like a
It's
receipt we drafted?
It would come through, see, I deal with cemeteries that are closed.
Right.
You know, so all this active cemetery laws, you know, that's new to me. But there has to be a board. I mean, it can't be without funds. There has to be someone to take care of it and maintain it.
Sure.
You know, and right now, that's the cemetery commission. And you're right, Leota did give permission for the last 2 burials out there. One of them was with the Whipple family that say they've already got their plots, or they do have their plots. The other one was the most recent one, and she also told him to charge the family $250. And to my knowledge, that still hasn't been paid to the county.
My question would be, how do we sell plots if we're not sure if they've been sold or not?
Exactly.
Okay.
And that's
I
With the
think
commissioners-
they're sold through the undertaker, but I'm not sure.
Okay, with the commissioner's permission, I would like to have like a phone call maybe between you and I, or maybe have a meeting and sit, so I can get my head wrapped around all the issues with this. Does that make sense?
Oh, I think you need to talk back and forth.
Is that okay?
Yeah, yeah, with me.
I'll give you a business card, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
I'd just like to add, Amy's been doing a real good job with this because she's going back and tracing stuff down where she's real thorough about what she's doing.
And I applaud her for that. I thank you. Thank you very much for that.
Well, thank you. So that brings me to my next thing. Lisa Austin, our new member, she resigned. She was not able to complete her responsibilities, and it was too much. So she did resign. And we did have another person that was willing to step up and be on the board. That is Brian Dobb. He's already volunteering, caring for 5 cemeteries. He can run a chainsaw, so with your approval, we would like to add him to our board. And that Lisa's term was to end on 2020. So he would be
January,
filling that.
or December 31st, 2020?
Yes.
I'd entertain a
I
motion.
got a question on this now. We got the thing about the board appointments, how we're gonna redo it now. He was, on, for the board once before, and they ended up getting somebody else, wasn't it? He was already asked to be on the board,
Yeah, that's when
and then
Lisa
somebody
came
else
on.
ended up being on before him, so do we need to go through the new process, or can we just nominate him from the old way?
Well, how about if we do this? How about if we table this to our next meeting and give 2 weeks, the next 2 weeks for somebody else or someone else
okay with you?
to volunteer? Because you don't have another meeting until,
Until the
First next
first
month.
Monday of next month.
yeah, so we could get that done before their next meeting. And that gives them
Somebody else to,
time for, that gives them 2 weeks to throw their name in the hat if they want to, and then we'll go through that process if there's more than one
look who we,
interested person.
All right.
I mean,
I'll make a motion
I think-
to effect.
through the newspaper and whatnot, that they
Okay.
can,
I'll move to do that.
all right. Is there a second?
Yeah, I'll second.
There's a motion made, seconded, that we table this appointment until our next meeting to give any other interested citizens time to put their name in the hat for this position, to fill this position. Any other questions? Dale, you're being awful quiet.
I'm on camera. Enough said?
All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes.
Okay, and so then my last thing is, it was brought to my attention that we only have 4 keys to the highway garage. We need 1 more to accommodate all of the members.
Can we
We-
accomplish that, Jay?
Didn't you just turn one in?
Yeah, that was the 4th key.
Okay. We should have another one down there somewhere.
Okay.
But,
Percy, you?
I don't think so. Angie said that there was only 4 keys that was, because I think when we first started moving out there, I think Dave Caldwell told him 4, because there were 4 members on the board at the time.
We can get another key, that's no problem.
Okay.
Can she work with you on that? Yeah, okay. Just work with Jay then on that 5th key.
Okay. And then about the $250. Is that,
Was there
we
anything
have
about the
a,
auditor's office on that?
So you shake yourself down.
I would say that, I guess my personal opinion would be that the cemetery commission send the funeral home a letter stating that, just a,
Through the lawyer?
I don't know that it has to be done that way, but yet, but that there was a burial at Wiley Chapel and there was an agreement of $250 and it hasn't been receipted at the auditor's office yet. Wondering where that's at.
Either that or has to see the receipt.
okay. So do I mail that?
No, I would. I'd just send him a letter. Send him a letter and ask him. I mean, it's a professional business.
I'll give you a Fayette County station there if you want.
I mean, it was agreed upon and we haven't, it hasn't been receipted in yet, so where's it at, you know?
Right, and that was in October of last year.
But as long as you've got the dates of the burial and whatnot in there, stayed in there that there was a burial at Wiley Chapel and There was an
Yeah.
agreed upon price, and we haven't, the auditor's office hasn't receipted it in yet.
We have been asked by the Bicentennial Committee to help with cemetery tours. And we decided to take that one off. That grave has sunken, and I mean, it's like sunken down 9 or 10 inches. And I can't get any return phone calls from Paul Martin. He's the guy that dug the grave. You know, he's the person that fills them. I don't feel like it's our responsibility to have to fill those graves.
Just tell them the back bill on your letter to them for the receipt. If they spent the money, they're liable for it, I would say.
I won't make any promises, but I'll try to locate Paul Martin and see. I think I have some connections that can get a hold of Paul, so.
All right, well, thank you, I appreciate that.
But I do know where to find Leonard, so.
Yeah,
And I'm not afraid to go talk to Leonard, so.
He'll be with you.
Your lower lip's getting black and blue, David. From you biting on it. Okay, anything else?
I think that's all.
All right,
Well,
thank you, Amy.
Amy, for being thorough.
Do we want to address these two engagement letters today, or?
Is that the ones,
Under old business, or? Do we need another meeting on this?
if I understand, in talking to our county attorney earlier today, he feels like this would be worth an executive session for us all three to sit down and review these at the same time and then listen to what he has to say about it.
And I don't have a problem with that. Can we schedule one for Thursday? Does that work for?
Is that the earliest day available?
That would be the earliest now. Yeah. Yeah.
Thursday this afternoon.
Let's see if the
Afternoon.
Yeah, because he got that records thing on Thursday.
I have a noon meeting.
Yeah.
For the records, and then I have we've got that Lincoln Day dinner Thursday night, so if we could do it, what time would you be available in the afternoon?
Thursday?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be available until 4:30.
4:30? Does that work for everybody?
Whenever, don't matter to me, just let me know what time.
I would be available pretty much the entire early afternoon Friday. We want to do it Friday afternoon.
I wouldn't be available until probably after 2 or after 3. So
how time sensitive is this, Jeff?
Are you asking if we could wait until the next meeting and just have it? I mean, that's pushing it, I think.
Well, I don't want to string you out too far. You know, there's, as long as we just make a decision in a timely fashion that satisfies your deadlines.
would we even want to have executive session and turn around and have special public session to sign them that day as well?
I think so.
I do too.
If that's how we're going to do it, that's how we're going to do it.
I'd really like for us to try to get this done this week.
I mean, we can go ahead and sign them today with some directive on it.
exclude the council in this decision either.
I mean, the council meets at 6. I mean, you could sign these, just because you're signing it doesn't give them full access to do whatever they want, unfettered control to move forward. You can essentially advise Mr. Kennedy on how to control the hours that are being spent. And then we could have an executive session before the next meeting and kind of go over how much we really want to be going into.
And the one letter does require council signature as well, so just because our signature's on it won't get it started. But the accounting service only has one signature, Board of Commissioners.
These people would be under the watchful eye and supervision of Tim Kennedy. Is that fair?
That's correct. If you, I guess a simple way to think about it is he'd be the contractor and they're subcontractors. He's the general contractor, and essentially, and that's a pretty simple way to look at it.
Is that going to be explained to council this evening?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll certainly take that charge. If that's your desire to take that charge.
Well, you're going to be meeting early with them, right?
Right. I can certainly express this board's concerns, for sure. And what I can do is, we talked about earlier, we talked about weekly or bi-weekly billing system rather than a monthly billing. So a lot can happen in a month. I think that's something I can discuss with them as well.
Well, what do you guys think?
You can sign it now and then it'd be like with their approval too. We could sign it now like with their approval too.
Right.
And then we can say approve.
Right, and Tim will still be able to control how aggressive they get.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and sign it with the approval of him.
Okay, I'll second the motion.
Motion made and seconded that we enter into an engagement letter of legal services with JHK and also an accountant firm of Blue and Company, LLC, to assist us in our journey with our finding out our position with the hospital bankruptcy and whatnot. Is there any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes. Okay. Any other old business, Jeff, that you have?
Not to my knowledge, but I do want to verify. So I'm going to look into the Duke Energy issue, and then the main thing other than that is the cemetery issues. Right?
I think so. Okay. All right, move on to new business. Diana? Yeah. Operating funds for the public transit?
Correct. It's time of the year to apply for the operating funds for the Fayette County Public Transit. I just want permission to move forward with that since that money does run through the county.
And we normally put up the match for that out of our economic development fund, don't we?
Actually, there is, it's varied from 8,000 to 13,000 the past few years that the county's actually.
We have helped with that.
Correct.
I should say, I correct myself.
That's okay.
Okay.
It's we get state funds, we get federal funds, and then we match funds that run through the operating of the transit system.
I'll move to give them permission to apply for the operating transit.
Second the motion.
Motion made and seconded that we allow the public transit to apply for their yearly grant, operating grant under our name. Is there any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
3 3 ayes.
I don't know if you wanted me to talk much about it. We did receive the grant agreements for the community crossing grant application. I know you haven't had time to read through them yet. They just got forwarded to the county attorney today. We were awarded almost right at $845,000 from federal funds. We do have to match that. I believe it was around $263,000 that we are going to match those funds with. But if you'd like to go ahead and give us permission once the county attorney approves those, if we could go ahead and sign those, get those with that.
It'd be the president's signature, wouldn't it?
Correct,
Yeah.
yours and Jane's as well, both on those.
When do you need those signed?
We need to get them back ASAP, just for the simple fact, we're gonna have to get some help engineering that this year, as well as some help with inspection on that project, which we've always had an engineer on hand before, which is new this year. We have not done that. The city's done it that way since, because we haven't had an engineer since this process started. So, you know, the faster we get moving, we have to be under contract with an engineering firm, with a contractor by July 1st. So that's.
I reviewed them pretty quickly, but there's a lot there. There's 5 attachments, I think.
There's each section of roadway had its own separate grant agreement,
Okay.
which is something new and different they've done this year as well.
I'll get
Give you
with
a couple days.
I'll get with Gary by the end of the day tomorrow.
Yeah, that's fine. And they're pretty much the, you know, it takes an act of God to.
Right, understand.
Go ahead and.
I did double
give
check
me
the numbers on it. The
That's
numbers
the
were all correct.
Capability to sign them off with the approval of our attorney.
Sure, yeah, I'll move to let Gary go ahead and sign off on these grant agreements pending approval and review of the county attorney, and so in order to speed this process up.
I'll second the motion.
Motion made and seconded to allow myself to sign off on the agreements, grant agreements upon approval of the attorney, county attorney. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes. I might add that I'm working on obtaining some quotes from at least three engineering firms on helping us to prepare the contract to bid, helping us with inspections, and I hope to have that by our next meeting. Those quotes put together for us too. So. And if you have a particular firm that might be interested, let me know and I'll make contact with them. But I've got 3 that I know that's been calling on us.
Are you gonna do one one contract agreement for the bid and the inspection all in
I'd like
one?
to do it all in one.
That would be,
One firm does it all.
that would be nice.
I would think that would make more sense. So. Anything else on that, Diana? I think that covers all of that,
I
doesn't it?
think it covers it.
Thank you.
Anna, with the foundation? Thank you for being patient with us.
Oh, that's okay. It's very informative, and I appreciate all the hard work you guys do. Today, my name is Anna Dungan, and thank you for having me today. I'm the Executive Director of the Community Foundation, and with me today is the immediate past president, Renee Zumkeller, for moral support. But a couple years ago, in 2011, the Community Foundation was instrumental in helping get the comprehensive plan, because we were working with the Office of Community and Rural Affairs at that time through the HTC program. The comprehensive plan before that was done in 1969. So what happened was not a lot of review, but just a new plan. So what we would like to do is encourage the community to participate in the review of the 2011 plan and go through it. The Community Foundation has been awarded a grant through Lilly Endowment to hire someone, a facilitator, to come and help the community go through the process of reviewing every page, deciding what we want to keep, what we want to ditch, and what we want to maybe put a check mark next to. So at other meetings, I've talked about maybe in the plan it says that we want to get a telephone to everyone's house. Well, in the new plan, we want to make sure it says we want to put broadband or whatever is the next phase. So I think it would be exciting to go through the 2011 plan and see what we have done. One of those things is the trail, the nickel plate trail, but we still want to get the trail to the river. Going through some of those things, working with Bill McDaniels, I would invite all of you and the people that you talk to come to these meetings. We'd like to start it in June so that we can have as many people maybe that are participating in the school system also come, get the youth involved. We talk about things, inviting college students or people out of high school. Where do they want to work? What do they want to do? I'm sure that the plant manager at Stamp would agree that for a young person, if you talk to Colin Judd, having access to the internet is very important. Having affordable housing is very important. So we want to make sure those things are in the plan. And if we have all the constituents at those meetings, we have a better chance at developing a plan with everyone's voice being heard. So not asking for any money, just letting you know that the comprehensive plan is being reviewed. At the city council meeting last night, they asked who has paid for the plan in the past, and that has been the Office of Community and Rural Affairs. And Diana could explain, but it's kind of like a wheel. You only have so many spokes on the wheel, and Oprah only allows you to have so many spokes. Right now, the city and the county have all their spokes taken. So there's not funding for that currently, but I strongly feel that if we take the time to review the plan and move forward with the great things that the organizations are already doing, what is Purdue Extension already doing, what are Community Voices already doing, and captivating all of those plans, that we will be well on our way instead of hiring a facilitator to come in and maybe just giving us a boilerplate that's not really going to help us. So, do you have any questions?
So what you just described is going to be the first part of a two-part process, right?
That's what we'd like. Yeah, I mean, if somebody comes forward and says, yeah, we're just going to do a comprehensive plan, that would be fine, but I think that we need to look at what we have in our current plan, that the people put the time in before, and say, okay, did we do these things, and do we still want to do these things?
How long do you think it will take to do this review?
My hope is June and July we will review the plan. And I'm in favor of an aggressive approach. We set the meetings up, we meet weekly, we get through all of it, and then at the end, we feel that we have a great accomplishment, and then we can go into the fall ready to hire somebody and have a plan approved for everybody to start 2020. It seems a long way away, but it's only 3 quarters.
Yeah, well, it'll be here before you know it.
Yes, sir.
You're
But to
taking
develop
on-
all those things, the sidewalks that you're talking about and the bridges, all those things are important.
Sure. You're taking on a big job.
I know you'll be there with me.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, thank you guys for your time.
Thank you. Okay, have the Bicentennial Committee, a little bit of an update or some other things for us.
Hi, my name is Jackie Church. I'm here with Robin Beatty today. We're here in place of Mike and Jenny Sparks, our co-chair. They're otherwise detained. We have 4 things we'd like to bring before the commissioners today. One of the first things is the coverlet, one of our souvenir things. We're wanting to maybe have the commissioners come up with a place that we can display this in the courthouse here, maybe with some information about the bicentennial and the coverlet, maybe some order blanks that people can order the coverlet from us. As you can see, we have the present-day courthouse and the 1849 courthouse, and then we have something depicting all of the townships around the outside. That's the early schools of all the townships, Bentonville, Harrisburg, all the way around. These are the early. So we would like to also gift this to the commissioners if you'll display it in a prominent position in the courthouse for us. The cost of it is $64.20, including tax. Mr. Dobby was our first person to order from us yesterday. We appreciate that.
I wasn't gonna lose out on, because that'd be valuable later on down the road. I'm gonna make
So
sure
you
I
bought it
got
as
in
an
there.
investment? You bought it as an investment? It's your retirement investment?
No, I bought it as a keepsake.
No.
The second thing that we're needing permission for is during the 4 days of the bicentennial, we have an 8-foot banner here that we would like to place in the courthouse lawn here on the north side of the east sidewalk, probably where the pinwheels are at now. It would be put on 2 steel poles, and it has the information on it about the bicentennial. And along with this one, we would like to display a 2-foot by 6-foot banner for our day sponsors, which is Whitewater Valley Railroad, FCN Bank, Union Savings and Loan, and Next Era Energy. Those banners are similar to this. These banners were made by our school. They're great quality here, so we'd like to get permission to
The
do
2
those,
banners will be
to
in
hang those
2
as well.
locations, or
They
they'll
would
be under?
one. It would be 4 poles generally, but they would be placed in the same general vicinity. And the last thing is we would like to get permission to do a flag raising here at the courthouse every day of the 4 days, May 16th through the 19th at 8 a.m. here on the courthouse lawn as well.
I'll move we grant the Bicentennial Committee permission to go ahead and perform the daily flag raisings as well as placing the banners on the courthouse property.
Did you get it all?
Pardon?
Did you get everything in there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll second it.
There's been a motion made and seconded to allow the Bicentennial Committee to have the flag raising the 4 days of the ceremony. Also to put the signage in the front yard of the courthouse lawn. Is there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes.
One other thing is
guess
to
I
cover
would
it,
ask-
will we be able to do that someplace here in the courthouse to display it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got plenty of wall space
Okay.
around.
I'm not
here.
real sure how we'll be able to put it up. We do have one other meeting next week that we'd like to take it to, and who should we check with on where to put it or how to put it up?
I'd say coordinate with Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bill Gray.
Bill Gray.
Bill Gray, our maintenance.
Oh, okay.
Banner also, get with.
Yeah, I'll get with Bill on
Okay.
that. Bill Gray. So that
Okay.
it's not in a bad location for him to take care of the
Yeah.
lawn and whatnot.
Well, we're ultimately doing the celebration for Fayette County, and we want to do everything we can to honor that. So we
Thank you.
appreciate your time.
We appreciate all the time that you all have put into it
Okay.
thus far.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Is there any other thing to come before us today? Anyone else? All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve payroll and claims.
I'll move to approve claims and payroll.
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes. 2 minutes, and the payroll and the claims, is that for signature?
Yes.
For all of us, that is. All done?
I'll move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made and seconded for adjournment. All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes.